Welcome to the MWG podcast. We're here today on episode 20, the final episode in season 2. And as is tradition, we're going to do a tier list. This time, we're moving from Disney to Pixar, and we're going to do a collaborative tier list. So we're all going to work together to rank all the Pixar movies. Hopefully, you guys can see the screen that's shared. We got every Pixar movie. We were supposed to do our homework and watch all of them. I skipped a few, I'll be honest. But we're just gonna get it started. And as you can see, Toy Story is starting off the list and at the S rank, because who could argue against that?
Naj, you're so lucky. None of us can really argue about that. Like
Wait.
that's a, what do you call it? Definitely a subject right there. It's like you have it in S tier already. It sounds established. I'm sure someone out there disagrees.
If you can argue why Toy Story shouldn't be an S tier, you're a bad man.
We gotta have that. We gotta talk. We gotta have a discussion with that guy. Cause I agree. I actually have Toy Story in my S tier. So appropriate.
Spoiler alert! I don't think any Toy Story movie should be under A. Just
fair.
Yeah. You guys have to do some good arguing to get it down lower than that.
We'll just have to make a new tier on the bottom. Call it "Did Not See" or something. All right.
But yeah, Toy Story definitely belongs in the S tier.
I could see that.
The granddaddy of Pixar movies. I think it's probably
it's the first one, right?
It's the very first. Yeah. So just heads up, the movies are listed in release date order. So yeah, Toy Story was the very first movie that they released. It's a classic movie. Tom Hanks and oh my gosh, what is
Tim Allen?
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the character is so iconic.
Yeah, it's
Pizza Planet, the Pizza Planet truck, and the staple now.
The clouds, the clouds.
Oh yeah,
iconic.
Yeah, like you can't beat Toy Story. To Infinity and Beyond.
It's very catchy, super catchy catchphrase.
And yeah, Toy Story is like a generational movie for me too. Well, not even generational, but like the first movie came out in 95, I want to say.
95.
Yeah. So Toy Story 1 came out in 95. Toy Story, I'm jumping ahead to Toy Story 3. That came out in 2010, and my nephew was born in 2010, and he really enjoyed Toy Story. That's kind of how we bonded. And then my niece, Toy Story 4 came out 2 years ago, I think. And so yeah, we all kind of can bond over the Toy Story movies. Yeah, Toy Story just deserves to be S class, S rank, the first one at least.
Yeah, I think just because that when it came out, I can't really think of another animated film that was, done the same way, similarly. Look at the animation; it's ahead of its time for sure.
Yeah, it paved the way for so many different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different movies.
Sid sucks, right? Sid sucks, right? He's trash kid.
Sid didn't know.
Terrible kid.
Sid wasn't that bad. Sid was energetic. He was creative. He was a curious child.
You know what though? He became a garbage man, right? And that is a very respectable profession who makes pretty good money. Yeah, good money. So, hey, shout out to Sid. I mean, at the same time, there are a lot of kids that are pretty trash, but hey, they're kids. It doesn't make him less trash. He still was trash in the film.
He was just destructive.
But you know what I mean? So, it's just...
That rocket idea was pretty cool.
He's innovative.
Like, I legit wanted a rocket after seeing this movie.
the big one. You're right.
Yeah.
That rocket is amazing. I just remember going to the store and seeing it on on Buzz Lightyear, and I was like, man, this is an awesome action figure.
Hey, so hold on real quick. Is Sid trash or are his parents just bad parents?
It could be that. At the same time, we don't see enough. I'm trying to remember.
His sister seemed all right, so maybe it was just him.
Well,
you know what though? I might be jumping. I think I might have jumped the gun there. He's definitely creative. You know.
So as you get older, you can appreciate these traits in younger kids.
Yeah, I think as a kid and just seeing him be. I think as a child and just seeing him be so mean to the toys. You know, it just.
That he didn't know were alive, see?
Yeah, he didn't even know they were alive, right? Because, I mean, I think about this all the time, but I'm just like, man, as a kid, were my toys coming back to life? You know what I mean? So he didn't know. You know, if anything, he could just be... Yeah, there are a lot of kids that are destructive. It turned out to be okay.
Just say. If I was Andy, I wouldn't want to play with my neighbor if he was Sid either. So.
Yeah, me neither. He's a little scary. But yeah, Toy Story, iconic film.
There we go. Yeah, and like it's very rare for somebody's first shot to be perfect.
Yeah, dude.
This is the oldest movie, and it's still one of the best, if not the best.
It ages really well, even though like some of the animations kind of aged. It still is a movie that you can play and not be like, this is boring or turn this crap off, you know?
Yeah.
And even kids today still like it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Timeless movie. All right, so we jump into the next movie?
I guess A Bug's Life. I think this one's released 98.
I believe so.
Yeah, I remember I had the Game Boy Color A Bug's Life video game. That was the hardest game I've ever played in my life.
Is it harder than The Lion King?
I never played Lion King.
That game was... That's something else.
Don't play it now. It's harder now than it was before. It wasn't when I was younger.
Wait, but I feel like I played that Bugs Life game.
So I had Bugs Life on PS1.
Uh-huh.
That game was actually pretty fun, from what I remember. I'm pretty sure if I were to play it now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this game is terrible. But when I was a kid, it was fun. And I actually seen this movie in theaters.
Oh. I think I did. I know this is probably one of the ones I've seen the most. Or at least when it was out, I saw it a lot.
The VHS tapes?
I think we had the VHS for this movie too.
I had the VHS tapes for most of these.
The what now?
Oh, for the older ones. Oh, is it the what now?
I think
you mean Disney Plus, right? What?
I know they don't even have DVDs anymore.
That's crazy.
Service, right?
That's out of control. Do they really not have DVDs?
No, they still have them.
They're making it, right? Yeah, they're definitely making DVDs.
Like, they still have DVDs and like Blu-rays and stuff, but.
Who do you know? But who do you know anyone that's like, yo, boys, you'll never believe who just got a new DVD player?
I did in November.
Did you really? You really got a DVD player? Is it a Blu-ray player?
The PS5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
It's good you got that because they are not cheap. They're like $120 for a DVD player, a good one.
Oh my! What on earth?
Yeah. Let's see. So
Bug's Life. Should we just start everything in S and then move it down, or what?
No, I don't think a Bug's Life is S.
Not even. Yeah, I have that. I don't I have it in A tier, but the way I have mine set up is I have S plus, S, A, and B.
Okay.
Because none of these are trash. I just
good.
can't put anything in C tier because none of them are bad. Some of them are just like, well, actually, my real strat.
I have a couple that I couldn't see.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you have that opinion. That's good because it's just, we can debate that. So I have S plus, S, A, B, and Cars 2. I have Cars 2 in its own tier.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you guys watched it. I sat through it.
I liked it.
No, that's the thing. I liked it too. It's just, but come on, it's not in the same realm as any of these. It's just not.
I think Cars 2 is on par with Cars 1, but that's
really
jumping the gun.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that one.
We got about 7 more.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
so Bugs Life, I personally have it in A tier. Enjoyable film. I'm trying to think of.
Like what are the criteria we're
It's
basing these
pretty.
all on? Like enjoyable, memorable, iconic. How many of these things can it check off?
I don't know. Once you ask people like who do these tier lists, like what the criteria is, and isn't it mostly like just
personal
cause,
opinion.
just cause,
It's just like whatever.
just
This
whatever.
is how I feel about this movie. It's not comparable to other ones.
Right. Just say it sucks, and then kind of have like a mediocre argument, and then you just leave it at that, and then people just complain in the comments.
You want to hear those complaints, guys? You fill up that comment section.
I think it's mostly on. I think it's fair, mostly on enjoyment. Because we could just talk about if there is a moral to the story, or if there's something worth learning.
Yeah, I like the messaging of the movie.
But I think mostly on enjoyment, it's just fair too. So
yeah, like the messaging is cool. I don't feel like the characters are really memorable.
I remember the ones I didn't
wait, hold on. What about the little beetles?
Yeah,
those
Beatles
guys
were tight.
Those gotta get me cracking up.
The flies?
The fly? No, the flies.
The pill bugs.
Oh, the pill bugs. Okay,
Yeah,
they're funny.
Those guys are hilarious. Like,
but like before me rewatching this movie, like I didn't really remember any of the characters really outside of like Heimlich.
Heimlich pretty memorable.
I did not like Heimlich, man. When he got those weak ass wings in the end, he's like, "I'm such a beautiful butterfly." I was like, "Come on, man."
I like Flick for how
the worst.
The worst. What are you talking about? The wings.
The worst transformation.
Yeah, it's ugly, man.
The worst transformation.
Hey, man.
But
something about beauty in the eyes of the beholder, or something like that. I like Flick. Flick is innovative.
Yeah.
I like watching it again. Everyone's just doing stuff so inefficiently, and Flick is out here being an innovator with his. You remember that the seed, the seed machine he had, the harvester. That's mad efficient.
He sounded like Sid to me.
Okay, hold on.
Kind of. He screwed them over at the beginning of the movie.
But that's just because he's clumsy. If he had just put it down like a normal person, it wouldn't knock off all the rocks. It would have knocked out all the rocks. They would have had food for the. But at the same time, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because then they would just keep appeasing Hopper.
That's true.
So it was a blessing in disguise. Him being innovative actually helped them out of their crappy situation, and they eventually rose up. And now that I think about it, that's kind of a scary parallel to the real life.
Yeah.
Like,
the messaging is really good in the movie. I don't know. I'm leaning like B.
B? No. We could put it at the bottom of A for now.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be at the bottom of A. I think because there's a bunch of these films that could definitely be in B tier. Again, B for bad, just B for. I don't know. B for something.
B for not as good as the other ones.
B is not as good as Toy Story. So yeah, that's fair. I think Bugs Life end of A tier is fair.
Okay. Now here's one I think we can all agree starts in B tier, and then we can just start moving it down. Toy Story 2?
A tier.
A tier? Okay. Let me get this.
Toy Story doesn't go under A.
Can you refresh my? I personally think Toy Story.
I think this might be the weakest one.
Yeah, I personally think Toy Story 3 is better than Toy Story 2. Can you refresh my memory on Toy Story 2? They meet Jesse. They meet Bullseye, the prospector.
Yeah, basically, Woody's supposed to go to camp with Andy, but he gets a rip, and he does like a little rescue mission to go save like a toy that's being sold in the garage sale, and he gets stolen basically because he's actually a really rare doll that's worth a whole hell of a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And the toy's basically going on a rescue mission to save Woody, and you get introduced Zurg.
Yeah.
Zerg classic.
Get the iconic Star Wars moment.
Oh right.
Um,
Huh.
you get Jesse's little backstory song, which I think is what kind of brought it down for me. Like it's a little over dramatic sometimes.
Hey man, she got thrown away.
Yeah, and then that's basically, she gets abandoned.
So
And
what
that's why
killed
she's
it?
afraid of boxes.
Yeah, what killed it for me was the whole Zerg subplot, like, because they put that heavily into the TV show that they came up with after this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Why do we care about Zerg, man?
He's the evil emperor, man.
Yeah, this dude was a badass, but his weapon was shooting a plastic ball.
The tennis ball.
At least he shot something. Buzz Lightyear only has a red laser, infrared laser. You know what I mean? But he do it. But he got the wings though.
Yeah.
And he can fly. Or follow the style.
Falling with. Yeah, I'm done.
Wait, was this the one where he got reset the first time, or was this the one where he got mixed up with another Buzz?
He got mixed up with the other Buzz.
Oh, okay. Him and his identity crisis, man. That's like
Every movie.
That's every Toy Story movie. That just occurred to me how a lot of it is just identity, like an existential crisis.
A lot of Pixar movies feel like they're existential crises.
Huh. And how funny,
Crises.
how funny that Toy Story is the first one, and it's just that.
It's been consistent too.
You just question you question you question yourself, right? And when they got the new shiny Buzz Lightyear, you're just like, that's it. I'm throwing away. I have no purpose.
You're like, man, I'm trash. You're the coolest toy. And then the next movie, he's like, dang, I'm mad right. I had a whole TV show. I had all the merchandise.
I think it's fair to have Toy Story 2 and A. Again, I agree with you. All the Toy Stories are pretty good. They're great films.
It was still a Toy Story in the end. It's just the weakest Toy Story. That's it.
Yeah. So like, if it's the movie that's like right above A Bug's Life, I wouldn't be very mad at it.
Okay. But what if I did this? Hold up. Can you guys see that?
Oh wait.
I won't argue.
It's not. I
don't think it's necessarily a better movie than Toy Story 2.
If we're doing it like that's, more or less enjoyable, it would only be slightly less enjoyable. Slightly. Like not by a lot, for sure.
All right. Well, I think that's settled there. Now, Monsters Inc. Is this wrong to say it starts off in S?
Do you think this is an S tier film?
I do. This is one of the more iconic Pixar films to me out of all the rest.
Okay.
Just because I think it's the one I watched the most. And I never get tired of seeing all the stupid stuff they were doing. Like Mike Wazowski with his the taking the picture gag every time.
That's one of the best gags.
That gag is hilarious. It's too good. It's funny when they're watching TV and they see the commercial and Sully's just like, Mike.
Sorry, bud.
And Mike's just like, I was on TV, right? That was classic. You didn't even acknowledge that. That is classic Monsters Inc.
Now, who voiced Sully?
John Goodman.
Yeah. He's a Pixar staple too, because he's like in half of these movies, I think. Or at least a lot of Disney stuff.
He's in a lot of Disney movies because he was in Prince and the Frog, and then there's another movie that he was like a main character in, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, Number New Groove.
Oh yeah.
So what, John Goodman?
Yeah.
Yep. That's
a Disney staple right there. Like the guy who voiced Baloo and everybody else back in the day.
Wait, he was Baloo?
No. There was an actor who did Baloo and like Little John from Robin Hood. He was like the same actor in 3 movies in a row.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Monsters Inc.
I don't have any arguments to bring it down. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Boo was freaking iconic. So when this movie came out, I was in 7th grade, and everybody was like infatuated with Boo. The movie was super popular. I like the character. Like, I have no arguments against leaving this movie in S.
Showing the monsters doing a 9 to 5 is pretty funny. I actually like the idea of that. I also like how eventually, they Sully recognizes that it might not be the best, at least morally, right? That's actually another discussion completely.
Morally and actually, like, economically.
Yeah, more. Yeah, no, that's what that's what made laughter more viable, because it actually has nothing to do with morally. It just works out that way. But
it's actually way stronger.
Financially, it's way stronger. So Pixar out here really trying to, you know what I mean? Like,
they got the message. Like, it's stronger. You're running out of Scream in the first place. Nobody's scared anymore.
Yeah,
everybody can laugh, just like solar power, whatever.
Hey man, I'm still scared, man. If Sully came into my room, I'm out of there.
I'm asking for the autograph, man. Like John Goodman.
Oh man. Yo, shout outs to that what's that, the 2319 kid?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the orange Ralph, I think his name is.
Is that the code? I don't remember the code.
That's the code.
The guy that gets shaved every time.
Every time.
Poor guy, man. Honestly, that's his fault though. Like, that's him not. He's not aware of their job is well, they make it seem like it is, but it's dangerous. So he needs to take
unknown is dangerous, man.
Doesn't take the necessary precautions, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the sock being on his back, it's kind of, he's kind of liable.
His partner was like doing him dirty every chance he got. He was shouting it.
You know what though? In a real world, if that happened, and if your partner was someone that you guys genuinely had a partnership, a real one would be like, "Hey man, chill, dude, go get that off." And then
I'm not trying to die though.
It's off the books. It's off the books. Hey man, you
that man wasn't trying to die. That's all.
Yeah, but like he told on him like it was he hated him. If it was my boy and he had like a toxic sock on, I'd be like, hey, don't move. And then I'd, calmly initiate the 2319, not 2319, get off.
But I think the SWAT team or whatever was they were gonna come in hot regardless.
They have to shake him down, man.
That's so funny. Anyway, yeah, I can see Monsters Inc. Like, for me personally, it wouldn't be up here, but I'm not gonna argue it down either, because this is actually that film is iconic.
So where would you have it?
In A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can say this is the baseline for the S tiers then.
Yeah. I mean, if we really have to, if there's like S tier becomes a little too crowded, we can always bring one down. Yeah.
S plus, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. So yeah, that's fine. I think it's fine as of now where it is.
Okay.
Finding Nemo is next. Oh my goodness. Man, these films came out so long ago. Oh my gosh.
What was this one? 2002, 2003, somewhere around there.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I think 03.
Yeah, because I want to say Incredibles was 05. Cars
was I actually have all of them listed. Let's see. So yeah, 5/30/03 was Finding Nemo.
Okay, 03. Man,
Another
17 years ago.
Another movie I watched in the theaters.
I also watched that in theaters.
All right. So who is the best character, Dory or Bruce?
Oh, Bruce, and then Crush.
Them doing,
and then Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah. Willem Dafoe as he's one of the aquarium fish.
He's the main mastermind of the escape plan, basically.
Yeah.
That makes it even better.
I have no arguments, honestly. I think it should be an S.
All right, I agree.
Or at least high A, really high A. But to me, it belongs in S.
Fish are friends, not food.
Yep.
Like the quotables from this movie. I don't think anybody or any movie is more quotable. Fish are friends, just keep swimming.
Noggin.
Dude.
Righteous.
Yeah.
Them doing a therapy session is memorable to me. That part, that part definitely is a lot more is a lot funnier being older, like them, and then them also Bruce also relapsing
Oh yeah.
extremely
That part's
hard.
really good.
That part's hilarious.
And this is like the first Pixar movie I think that has like an actually like sad beginning.
Yeah. That's the start of a tradition right there.
Man. Hey man, shout out to Marlon, man. It's hard being a single. It's single parent. I was gonna say single dad, but nah, single parent. So
And not only that, but I think he's the only like Disney character that actually is a single. Well, even like Goofy are like the only single dads that actually are single dads and don't get killed off in the freaking movie.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard because his father's so reserved because of what happens, but at the same time, it's like
It makes sense.
It makes sense, but that's why it's so difficult for him to grasp the concept of letting Nemo be free, just letting
Like
letting
letting
him
him
learn,
grow up,
letting him grow up, but you know what though, parenting is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest job ever. So you know what, he found Nemo, all is well. Good father, good movie. He touched the butt.
Yeah.
Wait, before we leave this movie, before we move on, can we talk? What was that joke that Marlon would always tell?
Oh, the like walking mollusks.
Yeah.
He's a mollusk. See, and
he could not tell the joke.
You're a clownfish, right? You're supposed to be funny.
Comedy, absolute comedy.
Yo, you guys remember the address? P. Sherman, 32 Wallaby Way, right?
I think it's 42 Wallaby Way.
Oh, 42. Yeah, it was something like that.
Fun fact, I think that address comes from somebody was Filipino and was saying that because like if you have the accent, it's actually fisherman because you'd be saying it fisherman, right? Yeah. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way. Yeah, P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way. I swear, if I'm wrong,
you know what? I wouldn't be surprised just because it's in Emeryville. Like Pixar's in Emeryville.
Yeah.
So,
hey, did not know that.
Yeah. So if you actually watch all the way through the credits, it'll say that Pixar's in Emeryville, and they usually have like a freaking like this movie is dedicated to so and so who passed away or whatever. I'm like, dude, this is way too many movies. This happens.
Yeah, so P. Sherman is a pun on the word fisherman. I have no idea.
Sense.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea if it's. I think someone's either making stuff up or I would believe it though. It was an actual fact, but I promise you, a Filipino person would 100% say it exactly like that. So
I never thought about that, but that's odd. Absolutely true, and that's hilarious.
Fisherman, 42 Hollywood City.
Except with the realism. All right.
And so the 40 would sound more like porty, like a port.
42. Yeah. The layers. You see the layers?
All right. So Incredibles. Where do we want to start this one?
I have this at
A.S.
What do I have this? I think I have this in A. If not A, it's B. I don't
really.
Yeah. I think yeah. It might be A. Actually, no. I have in my personal one. I have it in A. I think this is an A film.
Yeah.
Okay. So why would you say B?
Well, B. I'm not sure. Now I think about it. No, never mind. Because I looked at my B list, and none of these are as enjoyable as The Incredibles.
I don't know. When it first came out, the first time I saw it, I was hella confused because when they were pretending like they didn't know each other, I literally thought they were both superheroes and they didn't realize they were marrying each other.
Uh,
So Devin Ken was like, wait a minute, don't they know?
Yeah, so I rewatched this movie because I haven't seen it in so long. And that part kind of confused me at first, and then I started like it was just a funny joke afterwards. But yeah, the whole like how they get rid of superheroes is so messed up because I could actually see that happening if we actually had superheroes.
that would 100% happen. I promise you. Like, and this storyline has been done 100 times over at this point, and it's just the truth. Like, eventually, they're not superheroes aren't immune to criticism. You know what I mean? Like, it's just even if they have the best intentions, people are just gonna be fed up eventually over something silly or trivial, or they could actually make a mistake. So yeah, very real scenario there. And Buddy is pissed. Buddy was he was tight.
I really like Syndrome too. I think he's a cool villain. I like that this is kind of like the only good version of the Fantastic Four we've ever had in movies.
Oh no. Oh, that's man.
Like if you swap Dash and gave him fire powers, this would be the Fantastic Four.
So this and Toy Story 2 make me think that Disney's been gunning for Marvel since the 2000s.
The beginning, yeah.
Oh no, Marvel and Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just straight up said, all right, we're gonna get Star Wars, then we're gonna get Marvel.
We're gonna show you guys how to do the Fantastic Four.
There's not much else to say about it. It was a good movie. I like
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Frozone is dope. I wish they used it more in the movies.
Yeah. I wish we got to see his wife. Just that would have been funny.
Where's my super suit? That's iconic.
I'm okay with it at A.
Yeah, because I mean it was iconic, but it wasn't as iconic as our current S tier.
Oh my gosh! Have you guys just asking real quick? Have you watched it recently?
What?
Which one?
Incredibles 1.
Actually, I haven't.
3 years ago.
The animation does not hold up.
Really?
Oh, no.
There's points where like Mrs. Incredible is like she's just like dead in the eyes. I'm just like, ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yikes.
Like I'm glad they waited a while to do like more people in their movies and got like that looking better because there's parts where it's just like, ooh.
This was their first people movie.
It was. Well, Andy was in Toy Story, but
yeah,
they didn't really look too good either. But they weren't like main characters either. So
right.
Pixar was smart staying away from people because you don't want to mess that one up.
Yeah, the technology wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And these are still stylized. Like nobody looks like Mr. Incredible. So, speaking of non-humans, where are we starting Cars off? S, A?
You know what? Personally, I love the car, except Cars 2. But personally, I love the Cars films. If you guys want to put it at B, that's absolutely fine to me. I love 1 and 3. I think they were great. I
think 3 is fantastic. But 1 is kind of okay. So I'll give my little spiel. I don't think Lightning is a likable character.
Who Lightning McQueen?
Yeah.
But what about at the end though?
I don't think he's likable till 3.
Really?
If I'm being honest. And I don't really like Mater either. Like he's a fine comedy relief character, but they're not really endearing characters to me. The opening of it was like really exciting of the first Cars. Like that race, the opening race actually like kind of made me want to watch NASCAR.
Oh yeah, Pixar has an effect on anything.
I was like, yo, they did a really good job with this opening race.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and you don't ever see him win the Piston Cup.
But he does eventually.
But you never see it.
But it's about life's not about it's about the journey, not the just kidding. I'm just joking. Just joking. So I did not instantly.
But actually, okay, based off of where we have it though, what we have on it's better. I think it's better than A Bug's Life.
Yeah. Toy Story 2 or Cars? I'm biased against Toy Story 2.
People would probably put Toy Story 2 over Cars. I personally love Cars. That's difficult, man. I'd put it over Bug's Life for sure.
Y'all hating on my favorite right now.
I feel like Cars is like the 2000 babies Toy Story.
Okay, I could see that.
I think Lightning McQueen is likable at the end, right?
I just like Mater. That's my favorite character. If you ever saw the Mater shorts on Disney Channel.
So you should watch Cars 2 then.
No, I've heard from a very
but you like Mater
source that Cars 2 is the #1 skip movie.
I disagree with that.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
We'll get to it.
When we get to it, I'll give you my gripe with the film. I don't even think it's bad. It's not, but it's just I'll just give you when we get there. I'll just yeah.
When I heard skip the movie, I said, all right, sure. Less homework. All right, so for now, we'll leave it here as we fill in the A tier. I think.
As we fill in the other tiers.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're going to start with our first B tier then.
Yeah, that's where I would put it.
I think that's fair. I even though I have it in A tier, this is fine in B tier if you ask me, compared to everything else.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as Cars or Toy Story or Incredibles.
It's a rat cooking.
It's a fun movie. But like, I don't really remember it that well. Yeah.
It's just not sanitary. I'm not gonna lie. It's not. I don't like rats. I don't like bats. Period. I don't like mice either. They're awful, actually, creatures. But I personally love the film. I really do. I think it just has mostly because I like to cook. But if it's in B, it's perfectly fine if you ask me. It's just not sanitary, man. Like there's a scene in there. Really gross. Bro, there's a scene in there where like the whole colony is in the kitchen.
Right.
I'm like, yo,
they wash up.
They do. They get in the steamer and all of them steam, right? And then like
that's
sanitize.
Even worse. The steamer's contaminated now.
Attempts were made by Pixar. But in the end of the day, it's not sanitary. It's gross, and I don't blame them for shutting down the restaurant when they found out. I'm gonna be completely honest. What I do like though is, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Like Remy, yeah.
The rat, right?
Yeah, it's staying B tier. If you can't remember the main character's name.
I personally like Remy a lot. You know, he knows he's a rat, but he's like, yo, I love to cook. It's what I was born to do. I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, and
Pixar with the message.
I agree. So yeah, B tier sounds good to me.
I mean, the whole movie can be summed up: rat pulling hair, the dude acting like a jerk, and then eating the ratatouille and having like the memory blast.
That's pretty much the movie.
And also food critics are pretentious, man. I really hope they're not all like that. Critics in general, actually, which is funny because we're critiquing these, but it's just critics are just something else, man. Like the critic in the movie is actually self-aware. He even says he explicitly states in the interview when they interview him in the film that, you know, critics, it's literally their job to be nitpicky. But yeah, I mean, that's the difference between that Yelp review is the difference between you going like, oh, hey, I don't like this 1 star, right? So that's what I learned from Ratatouille.
Got to get the Michelin stars, man.
I loved how picky he was. Like that dude just looked like a jerk. Like he's probably evaluating the air he breathes. Satisfactory.
Oh my gosh. they're never happy.
All right, Wall-E. Are we going up or down with Wall-E?
Up.
I have up. Yeah, I have this pretty high up. This is a great
This
film.
is either top A or like S somewhere.
S. Okay.
I think Wall-E is good.
I personally think it's a S tier movie.
All right.
Especially what they were able to do with it. Oh my gosh.
What's incredible with this film is how well written it is, and there's no dialogue
For like the first 30 minutes of the movie, at least.
Yeah, there's no dialogue, and the
main character doesn't even talk.
Exactly, and there's somehow romantic tension between Wally and Eva. That's out of control.
This man is a metal Pokemon. All he says is Wally throughout the whole movie. Yet he's able to convey so much emotion.
Hey, does that mean Disney's gonna buy Nintendo later? We got the Pokemon.
All right, we got Sora and Smash finally.
I don't know. I boycotted the movie for.
You boycotted the movie?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because the character only said his name. I was hella mad about that. I was like, what am I supposed to do here? Just watch him say Wally.
Wait, did you know that? Did you know that beforehand and you just didn't watch it?
Yeah, because everybody in school was like, "Oh yeah, this is such a good movie." All he says is Wally, and I was like, "Oh boy."
Hey, so have you watched it?
Yeah, when I watched it, I was like, "Dang, this is pretty good."
Nash, how are you? Wait, you really said that in middle
school? Yeah,
middle school.
Yeah.
How are you the same at age 15 and like 30 and like 29, whatever age you are now? Like
stopped aging.
I think you're
17.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I think
part of it was also you're trying to be cool at that age. It's like, I don't watch Disney anymore.
Luckily, I was graduated from high school by then. So,
Naj, I was gonna say you just ascended before everybody else, and you were just woke. I thought you were woke.
No, it was very petty reasons, and then we never actually had this one. I don't think we bought the DVD. And whenever it was on, I was like, I'll pass. Rather go do something else.
Wally's very bleak. The state of humans and the earth.
It's very sad.
It's extremely bleak, and it's very common social commentary.
That was my favorite part.
It's in literature, it's in film, it's in video games. Recently, Cyberpunk 2077, and it's like it's so bleak. Like we're already headed in this direction. Like you don't really have to. It doesn't even have to be the chair. It's anywhere you could sit in your smartphone. That's literally what it is, and we're just
And this is before like smartphones were even like a real thing.
Yes. Yeah, and what we're
this was like what 07?
08.
08.
6/27/08.
Oh yeah, so that was senior year. Of course, I was trying to be cool and
That
filling
was summer of
college
senior year, man.
applications.
That's summer of senior year.
great film. Definitely have it. I personally think it's S tier.
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put it at the bottom of S tier for now.
Sounds okay. We'll
S tier is going to be kind of crowded anyway, so we're probably to
we'll be bumping
trim
it
down. Trim it down.
All right, this is the first, I think, real contender against Toy Story.
Really? I watching this again, I would say not maybe in the middle of A tier if you ask me.
Wow, okay.
That's pretty low for up.
I don't think it's bad at all. I love that film. I love romance in general. It's just to me, it's just the them being on the, I don't know, to me the story really was just Ellie and Carl, and then like the jungle thing was just like in the middle kind of, and then and then at the end you see, oh man, the end gets me every time, dude, because Carl is just so fixated on doing what his wife dreamt about doing once, right before, and then
I love how grumpy Carl is.
me too, man. I think I'm headed in that direction. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I don't blame him at all, dude. Like
the way he leaves in the beginning of the movie is hella funny to me. He's so excited to get out of there.
There was one big plot hole.
Oh.
And that was the dude that he idolized had to have been 50.
He's the same age as him?
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute.
They don't age on that island. There you go.
Okay, because like this guy should be 100.
That didn't even occur to me, dude.
Actually, I feel like the dude's older than Carl.
Yeah, because the dude was like, he was a kid looking up to this dude. Like, I thought the dude was like 30, 40. And they come to the island.
He's like 5 years older than Carl.
He still looked 55. He looked 55 still. And Carl was like, Carl looked like 70. maybe 60, maybe 65, give or take.
Nah, he looked older than that. But yeah. I don't I think it belongs in S, but I'm not opposed to it being in high A.
I think it's better than The Incredibles, if you ask me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like it's got the saddest freaking beginning in all of Pixar that's my opinion at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Imagine Pixar released that film and they just ended it right there. And that was it. That's the whole film.
Everybody just crying when they leave.
The only thing taken away from it is like there's 3 different movies. There's the opening, the jungle, and then like the end.
Yeah, that's kind of why I don't have it.
It feels a little disjointed. I get what you're saying.
That's kind of why I don't have it the absolute top. But personally, if this was just I mean, at the same time, it's not really Pixar style. They were just extremely straightforward. So I can see that.
I feel like a high A works for it. You know, the Kevin plotline. It's kind of just there.
Yeah, that was sad too.
Yeah,
he needed a Marlin in his life.
Man, at the end, dude, Ellie thanking Carl for the adventure. Oh man, I'd literally die every time. That is just, man. Sometimes that's what it's about, man. It doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. Just a partnership like that in general. It could be with like with your son, your daughter, or like with your parent, or with a friend. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I wanted this, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
You and me.
Like the dream relationship for sure, man. That was his dream girl.
Man, gets me every time, dude. Shut us up.
And at the end when he empties out all the stuff from the house so he can go save what's the kid's name?
Kevin.
No, the kid. Kevin's the bird. Right? Kevin's the bird.
Kevin's the bird. It's
it's
my
an
god.
A tier then, because I can't remember some of these names.
Russell.
Yeah, Russell. There you go.
Yeah.
When he empties out the house
A tier
to save Russell, and he leaves the chairs standing side by side. It's like, dang.
Oh, and no shout outs to his dad.
Yeah.
None. Zero shout outs.
Get that guy out of here.
Get him out of here.
So where do you guys want to put
S.
3? Should we start 3 in S or start it in A?
S.
S? Okay.
Naj, where do you have it?
I think it could be an S. I'd say WALL-E's better than it for sure. Monsters Inc. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
Is Toy Story 3 better than
this? Wait,
hold on. Is Toy Story 3 better than Nemo and Monsters Inc?
Ooh, well,
whose opinion are you asking?
To me, no. But it was the one that I saw in theaters, and it was the one where like I was trying not to cry.
I almost cried too.
Same here.
I almost cried too. That's a very I feel like it depends on who you are too. I think if Toy Story 3 was either the first Toy Story you saw, or maybe you only saw 2, or maybe you were like, I don't know, 13 or 14 when you saw it, you probably wouldn't cry. But Pixar knows exactly what they were doing when they released this film, because what is this, 2010, 2011?
Yeah, 2010.
And this is, and everyone that had watched
6,
this
18,
film,
10.
Yeah, everyone that had watched this movie was anywhere between the ages of 18 and like 25, maybe between there, 24. And we grew up watching.
How old was I?
Toy Story.
21. That was like, yeah, I was 21 that year.
Yeah, anywhere between, if you're in between the ages of like 18 and like 24, 25 maybe, like you literally saw your beloved characters about to perish a horrible death.
Incineration.
Die.
Because I remember like everybody was like, man, because that was like part of the draw too. It was like the It was the whole nostalgia wave for the 90s.
Yep.
And they were like, man, I'm not going to say anything, but it gets deep.
Andy passing on his toys too was actually really devastating. Like, it's just him growing up. It's him moving on. It's not even him forgetting them. It's more like, he's passing them on. He's just grown up and he has no time just doesn't have the time. And that's like the story of my life. I'm just like, dude.
That's funny. Yeah, so I've seen this movie in theaters too. And I seen it with two friends that went to watch it high. So that was interesting. I was the only sober one.
How do you watch that intoxicated? This is a wonderful film that you should see, not that.
No idea. But my friend said he didn't like it, and I guess it's because he was high when he was watching it. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you cannot like this movie. But like,
I think in either state you should enjoy this movie.
But like, the beginning of the movie is hella cool too, because it's like, it's a callback to the first movie. Mm-hmm. In the beginning of the first Toy Story, Andy's playing with Woody, and they're doing the bank robbery scene, and Bo Peep's like the hostage and all that. Mm-hmm. And then in Toy Story 3, they're kind of doing that again, but they got the trolls on the train, and it's all amped up and super exciting. Like, Andy's imagination is wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 10 years of technology too.
Like, one of my favorite parts about it is like, in all the movies you see Andy playing with the toys, and just like his imagination is always super cool. Like, all the little scenes that he plays out, it's always fun. And then when he's like packing all the toys up to go into the attic, and he drops Buzz in, that part always gets me. It's like he's just like, wait, me? Just like how desperate they are to like be played with and stuff. It's such a good movie.
And you get into the crisis again with the toys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And then Lotso's a jerk.
That's a great villain. That was a great villain.
Yeah, forget Lotso.
Yeah, a good motivation too. Like, Lotso is such a jerk.
Hey man, that's what happens when. What happened to Lotso again?
He got lost.
Oh yeah, they replaced him.
They got replaced. And he was just extra mad after that. That man was salty as hell.
He was tight. He was not happy. He gave his all, and what does he get? Replaced.
And the way they ran that daycare too, man, they had it on lock, man.
Oh, that is terrifying. That is.
And they reset Buzz. They had everybody's instruction.
Oh, they had the bookworm. They had the annoying. They had all the cool toys in that movie. They had the annoying monkey. That monkey was a security process.
They had my man, the hedgehog, the Shakespeare hedgehog.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my favorite character.
And they really ran. They ran a tight ship at that daycare.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the end when he gives up all the toys, it's extra. It's just like, it's such a good way to have ended Toy Story if they were going to do it, if they should have ended it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, Bonnie was likable in that movie.
I personally thought they should have ended it there, but Toy Story 4 is still a good movie, but I really do think they should have ended it at 3.
I wouldn't have been mad if they ended at 3.
Yeah. Just do what everyone else does. Just spin it off, right? You just do a spin off.
They're probably going to after 4, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they actually kind of are already with Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Lightyear?
Yeah, so they're doing a like prequel for Buzz Lightyear, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to be based off the actual person in the Toy Story universe that led to the Buzz Lightyear action figure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be voiced by Chris Evans.
Is there a trailer? Is there a trailer yet?
I don't think it's like a real trailer. I think it's just like a 15-second teaser trailer or something.
Oh, a teaser. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
I think Pixar has their whole universe, and there's a theory that all these movies happen in the same universe. All right, here it is. Oh yeah, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think some of the new movies kind of screw that theory up. So
yeah. All right, here it is. We're just gonna start it in its own tier. Let us have it, Carl.
It's just
Yeah,
it's
Carl, you
not
start with this. I've been wanting to hear this.
again, it's not a bad movie. It's just I'm just gonna be completely honest. The cars and espionage just don't mix. It just doesn't it's so off-putting to me. It feels out of place. And this is the first time where the plot wasn't that engaging to me. Like I could see how it's enjoyable if you're a child, right? Again, I don't even think it's a bad movie. I personally just wasn't invested in the movie because it was just so different than what I'm used to seeing from Pixar. And different's not necessarily bad, but the wheels they can carry stuff with the wheel. What? How is that even? What is happening?
So just the logistics.
The cars are using grappling hooks. Hello?
Oh,
They're doing
what? Been doing that for years.
They're hand to hand. There's hand to hand combat in the movie.
Is there really?
Remember in the bathroom? Weren't they fighting in the bathroom? You remember talking about, right?
Yeah. I don't really remember what happened in that part.
Right? And it was a movie about Mater. I expected it to be about, dude, even from this thumbnail, Lightning McQueen is in the thumbnail. He's barely in the movie.
Wait, it's about Mater?
Yeah, it's more about Mater.
It's about Mater. It's not even about Lightning McQueen.
See, I never saw it. And like I said, this is hella misleading.
That's what I'm saying.
Lightning and two new characters and Mater out here on the side.
Yeah, like it's again.
It's Michael Caine, man.
And Michael Caine is in the movie. What the heck? How did they even get? They really got my man Michael Caine in the film. It's so random.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's an odd movie. It doesn't feel like it should be a Cars movie.
Yeah, it just feels out of place. And like, if Pixar wasn't a thing, and this kind of just came out with a different name, and it was still, if it was just a different name, and it was literally Cars of Spies, I'd probably feel like it's better, right? But it's just compared to all these, it's just out of place. Like, what's happening?
It was really weird. Yeah, excuse me. It was just a weird movie. Lightning's still not likable to me in this movie. It's like Mater gets just lucky because he's stupid throughout the whole movie.
Oh, that's frustrating to watch sometimes too.
That's a theme.
Like if you don't really like Mater that much, he's a very big part of the movie. It's like, don't know. Like, so if you don't like Mater, then it's like not really a movie for you, I guess. Even
by the end, if you don't like Mater, it's still not going to be the movie for you. Like that's that's just his character, and they eventually just embrace it.
I like the Italian rival car.
Yeah, that's Turturro, John I forgot that dude's name. That guy's great. I love that guy.
I like his character.
His character's pretty funny. It looks like how arrogant he is.
Like he was Lightning, like a bad guy. So
when we were in Cars 3, you gotta explain why Lightning McQueen's not likable. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can kind of understand why, but I'm just curious as to.
I just don't find him to be like a really likable character, especially in the first two movies. Like he's like, he doesn't have like a real hero's journey, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's super arrogant and like overly confident. He doesn't win. Really.
You don't see
you don't see him win.
You don't see, but by Cars 2, he had already had three
Piston Cups. Yeah, you don't see him win anything.
Because life's about the journey, not the destination.
It's true if you watch Up. No, but I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't find him to be like a likable character, and maybe it's just because like I hear too much Owen Wilson in him. Owen Wilson actually kind of fits.
Oh, that Owen Wilson's
character really well.
Owen Wilson's just playing himself. Not even. Wow, wait. They should have got him to say wow. I just realized that.
Could have said "ka-chow" or something.
Ka-chow.
Close enough.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't find Lightning to be very likable as like the main character, the main like good guy character of the movie.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I understand. I understand that.
Well, somebody had to be on the bottom. Might as well be Cars 2.
Yeah, Cars 2 in its own category, I guess, is fine, or like C or B. Either way, I'm fine.
We'll just put it on its own separate tier. Now, I think B for Brave.
I think Brave should be lower than Cars 2.
Really? I have it. I actually have it in my B tier. It's again, I actually did like the character. It's just what's my gripe with it? Like it, I don't know. I think maybe it could have been better executed.
Yeah. The lead up, like the trailers and everything, you'd have no idea what this movie's about.
Oh yeah, this movie is not like, I don't get it why it's called Brave. This movie's Freaky Friday.
Do we wait, we all watch it, right?
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I genuinely love about this movie is I never realized how cool Scottish accents were.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've said out aloud to myself the end of the the trailer? You know, the trailer when she's like, what did she say again? If you had the chance to change your fate. Right? That's like the best part.
That's pretty good.
You see that? The accent's OD, right? That's the best part of the film for me. I was talking in a Scottish accent to myself for like a week.
I don't blame you.
That's the best part of the film for me. Otherwise, I agree with Moss. I never really made that connection, but it's just Freaky Friday.
I thought the witch was gonna be in it more. She was in it for like a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, you said witch. I was looking for Rapunzel for a second. That's not Pixar.
You already ranked Tangled, man.
Damn, that movie. That movie was kind of random, dude. I just realized they really turned it. All the plot lines. They're like, let's turn her mom into a bear.
Yeah.
That's kind of random.
And then she was still trying to be dainty as a bear.
Oh my god.
Wait, so sorry. Can someone just clarify this for me? The film is about family, like
tradition, I guess.
Empathizing with each other. What is?
I guess it's a generational thing, like
It's Freaky Friday. You just have to see. I forgot what the curse was. Yeah, it's basically just whatever the curse riddle was. That's basically the whole thing of the movie.
So her mom is like super traditional, and she's very non-traditional, and
basically
so her mom has to see, has to understand where
basically just don't understand each other, and they learn how to understand each other.
Okay, yeah. And then Merida's kind of, because I'm not gonna lie, I really thought her mom was overbearing, and I was trying to find out where I had issues with Merida.
Merida's
with
also
the young
kind
generation.
of a spoiled brat, though.
Yeah. Maybe Merida. Maybe she needs to understand what her mother's intentions were.
Yeah, I think both sides needed that, and that's basically what happens in the movie. So.
Anyway, yeah, B for Brave. If you want to say that, that's cool. Yeah. Moss really does think it's below Cars 2. That's debatable for me because Cars 2. C. Hey, if you want to put it in C,
we're gonna have to drop some movies later on anyway. I think it belongs in C.
Yeah,
I think it might be the worst Pixar movie in my opinion, but
I don't know if it's that bad. I liked it.
But like, it's a high curve though.
Yeah.
So for it to be the worst Pixar movie, it's not bad. It's not like a,
That's what Tangled wish it could be.
Oh.
I'll tell you this much: Brave is not better than any of the films above it. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So C for Brave.
Yeah, we could say that for now. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's much better than any of the ones that came after it either. So.
I don't know. I don't like The Good Dinosaur.
You don't like it at all.
I didn't watch it. I was just
Oh, okay.
This one was like Brave and The Good Dinosaur have the same problem to me. The trailers and stuff. I don't know what this movie's about.
It's okay. You're not missing much. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be completely honest here.
I think he's better than Brave, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah.
Now, Monsters University.
I have this in S. Not even a question for me. If you ask me,
so
I just have it in S.
It's on par or better than Monsters Inc. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this right now. Like I already enjoyed the film from the get-go, but it's probably, if you ask me, is probably the best ending ever in Pixar history. I'm just gonna say it, dude. That to me is it's because of who I am and what I who I am, like my life experience, like just because I remember watching that movie in theater. In the theater, and they do all that, and I'm like, by the end, I'm like, dude, they're not getting back in school. What's happening here? Like, like how is this gonna work, right? I fully expected I fully expected the dean to reinstate them, and she doesn't. I'm just like, okay, where is this going? And then, how old was I? Is this 2013?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was just out of high school.
Yeah, 6/21, 13.
I was out of high school, and I'm just like a lot of high school kids. I don't know where I'm going. I'm not sure about my major or why I'm even in college. And I watched this, and then they see the help wanted for the mailroom guys, and I was like, no way. Did they get to where they are just by applying into a completely different position and just working their way up?
That's how it used to be, man. People started in the mailroom.
What's more realistic? Like, what's more realistic than that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, things didn't pan out for them at all. Like, that's not what they're in. And it ended up working. They just made it their own. And then look what they got. You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't really work that way for a lot of people. Like, but that just happens to be their dream job, where they ended up to work. But dude, they didn't even start out, they didn't succeed. And they failed, actually, miserably. And then they just...
And they cheated.
And they cheat, yeah.
The mailroom thing, it's actually happened. I have a family member who did that. They started on the mailroom, but then when you're delivering the mail, he told me, you just buddy up with these guys, and they'll give you the heads up on promotions, everything. You just work your way up.
Who you know?
Yeah,
who you know will get you far.
Yeah, it can happen. It's not impossible.
Yeah. It just to me, it's just realistic. It's just very realistic, and it showed me at the time, like, you can't, you don't have to do things only one way.
Yeah.
A lot of people were shoving it down my throat, like, you got to go to college, otherwise you're throwing, right? Yeah. and I saw this movie,
that's very present in the movie too. Like, with the way Mike is throughout the whole movie, he's very like book smart, has to like studies hella hard, gets some good grades and everything, and he's like determined to be a scarer.
Yeah.
And then as the movie progresses, he learns that he's not scary.
and you know what? It just be like that sometimes.
And that's how life will treat you. And then, but in that he learned, he learned that he's like better as a supporting monster, because he helped Sully, actually, he helped all the monsters basically in the story, or fraternity, my bad. Mm-hmm. Discover their potential, basically. He helped bring the best out of them.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. I love the way they really play off of the original Monsters Inc. Everything actually makes sense. I love how the relationship builds. Yeah, I think they did a really good job with this movie.
Yo, Randall is tight, dude. I'm not talking about mad tight, like not cool. Like he's salty. Like, man, you're still thinking about this college game. Like, from what is wrong with you? Like, it's even worse is people are actually like this. Like, they really
that's life too.
They really remember stuff like that. Like, damn, I got
holding a grudge for years.
Yeah, he's like, I got bodied in a random game in college. You'll get yours, Sullivan. I'm like, okay, hey, hey, relax. You gonna chill, dude.
I only saw half the movie. I didn't see the ending.
Oh man, yeah, you should go and finish the movie. It's really good.
Yeah, I think what I saw, I liked.
Yeah,
So we can put it at S. Now I don't know if it's better than Nemo and Toy Story.
It's not better than Toy Story.
Okay. I don't think anything's gonna knock Toy Story off.
Me neither.
Well, let's see how Inside Out fares.
I personally think this is A
B?
A tier.
Definitely not B.
Okay.
Because it's definitely better than Toy Story 2 in my opinion.
I think it's A tier. I think it's A tier. If you ask me.
So between Incredibles, Inside Out, and Up, which one should be on top?
Oh, we gotta finish. I think we gotta finish the rest of this tier list.
Okay, we'll leave it here for now.
But yeah, I'm fine with it being an A. I think it's a great movie.
I think emotions are done very well.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I wish that they would have actually used the other ones a little more.
Yeah, like they should. Yeah, like they only really had an hour and 20 or 30 or whatever.
Yeah, like fear and disgust weren't really necessary outside of comedic relief. But yeah, I really like the messaging and the way Joy was really trying to overcompensate throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, there's definitely such a thing as being too positive. It's not,
and not actually feeling her emotions.
Yeah, you can't just ignore being upset, and they did a great job of highlighting that. If you notice too, in Riley, her emotions are very simple and not very complex at all.
She's still a kid too,
but she's a child, and you see all the adults, and they, their emotions are a lot more complex. And if you notice, even more fun fact, you'll see that the control board is longer. It's bigger. I
actually didn't pay attention to the control board.
Yeah, it's bigger on the adults. Yeah, when she's a child, when she's a baby, it's literally at one button. But when she's 13 or whatever, the board is that big. And as an adult, you see there's one long board and there's a bunch of emotions. They didn't even name the emotions too, if you notice that as well. And by the end, you have a sad emotion that becomes happy, and it's a mix of both. And it just goes to show how complex.
Yeah. What do they call it?
Is it bittersweet? Because that's my favorite emotion.
But the prime memories, I guess, I don't remember what the exact term they used was. But yeah, that they become mixed emotions is freaking really good. They did a really good job with that movie.
Skip this one. I'm sorry.
You skipped Inside Out? Come on, Nash.
The family just watched this movie to death, and I was like, I'm not going to see this. I've heard, I've pretty much heard the whole movie in the background.
But Bing Bong, man.
Bing Bong, Bing Bong.
I left the room at that point. I'll catch this one later.
So
it takes place in California, man.
All of them take place in California.
Yeah, broccoli on pizza is terrible, by the way. That doesn't sound very good.
It does not.
Yeah, that sounds just as bad, if not worse, than pineapple on pizza. But that's another podcast completely.
Whoa.
Hey,
Pizza tier list.
Pizza topping tier list. Let's go.
Wait, so right before we move on, I just want to say how scary that they make depression to be in that movie. That's terrible.
Sadness is so she's way too sad.
Yeah, she's mad upset. That's why they need each other. They need each other, if you ask me. So.
And that's the other thing too, the emotions actually show the other emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the control board was going just complete dark, gray, I was like, "Hey, whoa! That's a little too real. You don't feel anything. Wait, Pixar gotta chill, dude. If this movie were an hour longer."
Forgot about that part, but yeah,
you remember when it went gray and she doesn't feel anything? That's not, dude. If that movie was an hour longer, it would be another movie.
Yeah,
another kind of movie.
One thing I did like was how different people had different emotions in Control.
Oh yeah.
The main primary emotion was always different for each character.
Yeah, somebody's was
but
always.
But they all looked
joy.
the same, which was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But wait, Naj. So you're a big fan of Tina Fey, right?
Yeah.
What about Amy Poehler?
What?
Or is it Amy Poehler?
Oh yeah, I like her. I didn't like her at first because I didn't like the Mighty B.
They're like BFS, right?
Yeah. I loved her in Parks and Rec. Like she killed it in that role.
Amy Poehler is great in Parks and Rec.
Yeah. And she was good on Saturday Night Live, but I just didn't like Mighty B. So it kind of turned me off at first.
She's Joy. You had to watch Soul because Tina Fey was in it. How have you not had to watch Inside Out because Amy Poehler's in it?
Because nobody told me Amy Poehler was Joy. Now I gotta go watch it.
Amy Poehler is Joy. Yeah.
Well, now I know. Now I have to go catch this.
Yeah, dude. And then you can watch the end where the board goes dark and you're just like, whoa, it's a little too real. Like you don't feel anything.
It's almost like the in Soul.
Yeah.
Where you hit the I can't remember what it's called. But when he's like they're wandering for hella long and they just turn into like the monster thing.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of.
That one was personal too.
Tell you, man.
Yeah, I'll have to see it. What's up with the SNL cast members just getting the most emotional based movies up?
Bill Hader is in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Hader is
he's Fear.
Fear. Yeah, he's Fear. He's great in that film. Bill Hader is great in that movie too.
And then oh my gosh, what's his name? Something Black. Lewis Black, I think.
Oh yeah. It suits him so well. I'm right there with him. I'm right there with you.
Mindy Kaling is Disgust, and I don't remember who Sadness is.
She's that one. She's the other one in The Office. The one with Phyllis with the glasses.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's her.
And who was John Goodman? He was in this one, right?
Who was John Goodman? John Goodman.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, let's hope John Goodman's in this next one, The Good Dinosaur.
No, I could tell. I'll tell you straight up, John Goodman is not in it, and that's one of
because he's too good to be in The Good Dinosaur.
He's too good to be in the Good Dinosaur.
All right, so straight from S tier, we're gonna start this one in C then. No John Goodman.
It's got Sam Elliott.
You might want to consider putting this in Cars 2 tier. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh, I think he's better than Brave.
You think it's better than Brave? I don't think it's better than Brave, but at the same time, my only gripe with it, again, it's not even bad. I don't think this is a bad film. It's just forgettable for me. I just didn't think it was very memorable.
Yeah. And I mean, it might just be because I watched it like 2 days ago. To get ready for this.
What is that?
I have recency bias. But I don't think it's bad. I do think it's better than Brave.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not really like a must-see Pixar movie. It's cute.
Yeah.
Spot's a cool little character, even though he's like a wolf, dog, human thing. Or monkey, wolf, dog, human thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just sounds hilarious.
He's basically the pet.
So wait, do the dinosaurs talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, since you haven't seen it, the dinosaurs didn't get hit. The meteorite didn't hit the Earth, so dinosaurs kept living, and they're like, I guess, the dominant species. It seems like they have farms and stuff. It's weird.
Wow,
that threw me off when they were farming. I was like, I mean, a little.
I mean,
okay, Pixar.
That's what they became with farmers. I mean, they got to survive somehow, I guess. But
I think it's just that the movie's not very memorable because whatever the moral is or whatever the plot was has been done before.
Yeah, it's a very like
it beats a death.
Redone movie. Yeah,
and
it's basically just a coming of age movie where the kid's dad dies. It's like it's almost like Lion King, but not as good.
Oh, okay.
Not even close. Yeah, not even remotely closely. So it's
there's this like it seems like it's a lot of like we're just gonna take pieces of the Lion King, put this in this movie. Like when, like in the first 15 minutes of it, he goes on like a walk with his dad, and his dad dies. Sorry for this.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
And the way he dies is kind of like reminiscent of Mufasa. Just
wait, in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember just sweeps them away.
Yeah, they're like kind of like the river of gazelles or whatever it is. Wildebeest, yeah.
They got in a stampede with like buffalo-looking things. I don't know. So it felt very like reminiscent of Lion King. So I guess that's kind of why I'm not too mad at it. But it doesn't have like the whole kingdom uncle killing father thing.
Yeah. So what makes the dinosaur good?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand. That's a good question from someone who didn't even watch it.
I've been trying to figure that out too.
I have no idea what makes him good. The plot's been done before, and like it's just weird because Pixar, like if you show me a Pixar film, all the premises tend to be unique, and this one's just not it. Like I don't, it isn't very unique, and that's why
movies that we haven't seen here are the ones that are like the least unique of all the movies.
Yeah, Freaky Friday, and then you have the Lion King. The 0.3 or whatever.
Yeah, the bad Lion King.
The bad Lion King. Okay.
And then Cars 2 is basically a spy movie we've seen before, but with cars.
Well, maybe that's some advanced marketing. They thought, all right, if we just put good in the title, people might assume it's a good movie.
I actually think this movie wasn't really supposed to actually be a full feature-length movie.
Oh, okay.
And I remember reading that because they only do like one movie a year usually, but this movie came out the same year as Inside Out. Yeah, it came out Inside Out came out in June. Good Dinosaur came out in November 2016. Yeah, so
they were emotionally drained.
So let's just get this out there.
All right. Now, Finding Dory. I think this one was rushed too, but or forced maybe.
Forced more so than rushed. Yeah. You can leave it in B.
B? Okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it in B. It's definitely not in C tier, but it's it's just not. I don't know. Mossta and I were talking about this. We were talking about this earlier. I can't. What's memorable?
I don't know. It didn't seem like a cohesive movie, really. Like it was just like random Dory flashbacks to find her parents.
I mean, I think it was just cool hearing the cast again. I mean, a lot of people just like hearing that, right? Just because they like sequels to stuff and they want to know what happens after. But it's just,
it feels like it was too late to really like make the sequel for it.
Yeah, this was like
it felt like it was unnecessary at this point. And granted, Incredibles 2 comes out hella late too, but
so Finding Nemo, but finding parents instead, or Dora. Oh my gosh, Dory.
They had the most generic names. Why did her parents have the most generic names? Charlie and Jenny. Her name is Dory. Where did they get Charlie and Jenny from?
I'm not sure, dude. I wish I knew.
Most boring names. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was necessary.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember something that happened in Finding Dory, and I just can't. I don't know why.
They were crushed to get to California.
Yeah, but it's because he's Californian that it makes it funny, right? Like,
is he?
CT. Did you watch it?
How did he get in Australia?
No, if you can't remember the plot
Australian,
points,
I don't remember it. Like,
gotta go down to C tier.
The plot point is just they're trying to find Dory's mom or parents.
Yeah,
but it's like it feels contrived.
Better than Good Dinosaur and Brave, though.
Okay, all right.
That's for sure.
We'll call this better than
better than Brave.
Okay. So we ready for Cars 3 then?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready for Cars 3. This movie took me by surprise. I remember I told you guys that they said that this was actually good. I actually loved Cars 3. I think it's a great film.
I think it's the best Cars movie.
Guess we gotta put it above Cars.
I think.
Najee, did you watch it?
Yeah, Najee, did you watch it?
Yeah, so I enjoyed the movie. The plot was there. The characters were there. Their voice actors were great. No John Goodman this time, but they can't all be perfect.
Is that it for your critique?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I don't think Naj will
part.
like it. There's some SJW is in this movie, Naj.
There is.
That's fine with me.
Not real, kind of, but not really.
I had the hardcore SJW classmates, so nothing's gonna shock.
No, they just made the new character that's basically taking over.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. That's I didn't catch at all. Actually,
not only is she female, but she's also Hispanic.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's not even important at all.
Yeah,
But
it's you know what though? If you put it over Cars 1, I'll give you that. I think I agree with that. That Cars 3 actually was very good. I think so. Cars 1, Lightning McQueen is learning that he can't. The rookie, he's very arrogant. He thinks he's just better than everybody. He's very pretentious, and he also has no friends, and he has no pit crew. And then by the end of the movie,
such a jerk in the movie.
Yeah, and then by the end of the movie, he realizes, like, hey, I like you guys. Like, hey, maybe it's not so bad to.
I don't know everything.
I don't know everything. It's good to have relationships, and maybe it's good to have a mentor, which is Doc Hudson. And in Cars 3, right? He still retains a little bit of that arrogance and that kind of just, I feel like just because he's so competitive, but I can see why he's not appealing to you as a character. But yeah, Cars 3 was great, man. I was really surprised. You want to know what really got me, dude, in that film is when, oh man, they almost got me, dude. When he goes to visit Doc Hudson's mentor.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. And then he was, because Lightning McQueen. This is a nice little exposition for you, Nash. So Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen.
What do you mean? Nash already knows what happened.
Yeah, I saw this once twice.
The plot was there. The voice actors were there.
Yeah.
Wheels were turning. There was a race.
Yeah. All those are my favorite scenes. You nailed it.
So what ends up happening is, because he seems to think that the best part of Doc Hudson's life is racing, and it was taken away from him, and he still had so much left in the tank. But what he doesn't know is, Doc Hudson sends his mentor a bunch of letters, and he specifically says, like, dude, the best part of his life was teaching Lightning McQueen. And what's more beautiful than that? You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like, dude, yeah. Like when I saw that, I was like, man,
that part was really good.
Don't show me that. Like the best part wasn't even his racing. It was just passing his knowledge on to someone else. And Lightning learns that, and he does exactly that.
When you see Lightning like do the same thing, it's like, all right, this man is learning his character growth.
Yeah. So to remind Najee at the ending, at the ending, Lightning McQueen actually finishes the race, and not finishes the race. He starts the race, right, with his new rival. It's also on some Zoomer levels.
I was gonna say that too.
I think Najee would think the film is funny because, he did think it was funny.
Yeah,
because it was.
They hella get on him
because all the Zoomers are just better than the Boomers, and like they're like, yo, Boomers are garbage. Like you guys are old news, right? And like McQueen tries to prove that he still got it, while everyone around him is retiring. And at the end, he's got to run it back. But at this point, he had already mentored his, student throughout the entire film.
Well, he didn't even really mentor. They just kind of like, she was supposed to be his trainer, and then they ended up training together.
And it ended up being the other way around.
Yeah. Right? And he also like completely disrespects her in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, no.
Like, that's just his attitude.
all of your training is just garbage. I don't need your
Yeah,
like, what can you teach me? You're not a racer.
Anyway, he starts the race, and he realizes how much more important it is that his partner student, race instead, because it's her dream. Right. That he lets her finish the race, and she wins, which you remember.
Yeah. It was a good conclusion to a movie that I've watched in full.
Anyway, the best part of the movie to me really was just understanding that, how important it is to pass on your knowledge, and that the best part of your life might not necessarily be what you think is the best part of Like you'd be surprised. So
this is a very enjoy the journey more than the destination type of movie.
that's my motto. I wish I made that I wish I had quotes for the yearbook, and that's what mine would have been. And it would have been. And I hope that everyone knew that I was being ironic, but I don't care. It still would have been funny. It's so generic. It's so generic that it's actually funny when you say it. So yes, Cars 3, a movie that we all watched. Awesome.
Yeah.
See,
Loved it. Like honestly, you guys are underselling it. I think it's better than Toy Story.
But we're pressed for time here, so we're gonna go ahead and keep it there. And Naj will have to bring this up in a future episode.
Yeah, I have 2-hour essay just ready after watching this movie.
I have a video essay for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Your master's dissertation on
why Cars 3 was not only the greatest Pixar film, even without John Goodman. Now, Coco, for me, this is one where my family just would not stop watching the movie, but I actually watched it this time. It was good.
I love Coco. I think it's I'm not Mexican, so I'm not very knowledgeable about Mexican culture, but I thought it was a beautiful film that wonderfully was able to capture just the culture, like what it's like to be from that descent. I actually had a friend of mine who is Mexican who told me, hey, watch this film. I was like, why? And he's just like, bro, this is the real Mexican experience. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch it. And he just said, and he also said it was very heartwarming and it was a very charming film, and and a tearjerker, and I was like, oh, dude, awesome. I watched it twice. Actually, the last time I watched it, I'm sure you guys saw my tweet, but I watched it in Spanish.
I actually want to do that once I've seen you posted that.
Yeah, I watched it in Spanish, and I gotta say, dude, it was great, man. I felt the same exact way watching it, if not better. But it felt a lot more authentic, and it felt real. Oh, and the music was like 10 times.
The music
better.
is amazing in this movie.
Yeah, I think in Spanish the music's like 100 times better than it already is. So.
I mean, some of the songs got stuck in my head, but I didn't mind. It was like, all right, this is good.
Remember Me? Oh, dude, that song is a tearjerker too.
The lullaby, or just like the him singing it to his, oh man, it's so good. His grandmother, oh man.
I did watch this one, but parts of the plot did confuse me.
Like, for example,
so the grandmother in the dead world was the grandmother in the real world's grandmother or something like that, right?
No, it's
okay,
no. So the what you're talking about in the undead world.
Yeah, the head of the family.
That's Coco's.
That's Coco's mom.
Yeah, that's Coco's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the dude.
Coco's like the great grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like the great grandma because.
Yeah. And that's her father. That's her father. And then
right. Yeah, and then they had a tough life because even though her father had made it, he got screwed over. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he kind of abandoned them.
Had to.
Kind of abandoned them. You know what though? At least
he was getting ready to go home.
He was coming back.
He got betrayed.
Sometimes your partner just kills you for your music.
That greed, man. But yeah, this is also one of like the best looking movies.
Oh yeah.
This movie is beautiful, dude.
The dragon thing?
Oh,
dude, I wish I had one.
Yo, the grito is the hardest part of the whole movie. That's so sick. That's like the coolest thing. I didn't even know about that until
which part?
The grito, like before you sing the song. Yeah, I don't dare even try to do that. But like I know I'm not gonna lie. On the low, I'll be trying to do it right by myself, but I'm never doing that in public. That's so high level for me that I wouldn't even. I don't even feel like it'd be right if I tried, but that's like the hardest thing ever. Like the coolest thing. I thought it was awesome. Like this, like it just felt right, man. It was just fun. It was just fun to see. And what else? It's
So should we move it up from A then?
I think
I'm not against it being an S or an A. I think it deserves to be up at the top of their movies.
Yeah,
we can keep it there. If we got to bring it down, if we do bring it down, it would be high A. If you ask me.
Yeah.
Okay. Top of A, bottom of S.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, like, so this movie was on the other day. We had it on, and man, the movie looks so good. Like the way they depict Coco, like how old she looks.
Oh yeah, the wrinkles are a little too.
Dude, she just looks so like
old. Yeah,
they do such a good job on it. Amazing.
Yeah, very colorful film.
Yeah, definitely. So,
oh man, we're going for Coco to Incredibles 2.
Ooh, just saying that, it already sounds like we should start it low with Brave.
Not a trash film. It's just
better than Brave.
Not C tier.
I think it's better than Brave.
All right, that's actually our tier.
I mean, that's what it's coming down to. I mean, technically, it's better than Brave and Good Dinosaur, but better than Brave just sounds funny.
Yeah, and Dinosaur somehow better than Brave, but still couldn't make it to better than Brave tier.
We have to rename these at the end because they're good.
Wait, is it Incredibles 2 just the opposite? Instead of Bob Parr, it's Helen Parr? Is that the film? That's the plot, right? I forgot. It's been a long time I've seen this.
Pretty much.
She was the breadwinner all of a sudden, and like he couldn't adjust to it at first. Right?
Yeah, it was definitely like a role reversal.
I like the characters. That's all I can really think of. I can't really. It's still fun to. It's a fun watch. It's just I don't know if it's on par with anything above it. Yeah. Yeah. Note how Dory and Incredibles 2 are in the same tier, and it's like you know what I mean.
They were pretty much the same movie. We're trying to cash in on our early success.
Incredibles should have had a sequel a long time ago.
Yeah.
They set the movie up to have a sequel.
That's true.
So I think it's better than Dory. I think it's better than Bug's Life, to be honest.
Incredibles 2.
All right, we're gonna have to move Bug's Life down then.
I think it's better than Cars as well, but I'm not a big fan of the first two movies.
I don't think Incredibles 2 is better than Cars. I think it's fine where it's at right now, right there.
I mean, think the characters are better in Incredibles than Cars.
If you guys want to,
I'm not gonna I don't think you need to adjust anything yet, but yeah.
I'm gonna knock a Bug's Life down.
It being in where it is, I think it's fine right now.
Well, not much to say about that one. We've got 3 left, and I completely forgot to track the time. So
I'm well aware.
All right. I guess we'll just speed through these last 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Toy Story 4, where should it go?
Better than Brave.
Better than Brave. All right.
You think it's only B?
What's up?
You think it's only B?
Yeah, high. I think it's a high B, if not the highest in B. But I don't know if it's A. I again, Toy Story 4 is a great film. You know what I mean? It's just I really did think it was gonna end at 3, and then like, the fact that there's another one. Don't get me wrong. I watched it immediately, right? And I love all the.
Oh yeah, I saw that in theaters too.
and I like that Woody, decides to come into his own, and he just makes his own decision for him. He makes a decision for himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of because he's trying to please, he's trying to please Bonnie, he's trying to please Andy. And
no, Bonnie is trash. After Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Bonnie's a trash character after Toy Story 4. She was cool with Toy Story 3, and then Toy Story 4, she's trash.
So out of the Toy Stories, though, is it better than 2?
I think it's better than 2.
You think it's better than 2?
Do you think it's better than 2?
I think, like, as far as I feel like it's kind of like Incredibles 2 and Finding Dory in the sense that it wasn't a necessary, or like it didn't really need to do the sequel for it, but they did it better than I think.
So should Toy Story 2 be in the top of Better Than Brave or at the very end of A?
Yeah.
I can see
said,
it dropping down.
Toy Story 2 dropping down? Okay.
At the very top? I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, because I'd still say Toy Story 2 would be better than A Bug's Life.
I wouldn't say Toy Story 4 is better than or worse than Cars in any sense of the word.
Okay.
That's just me. No,
I wouldn't. Hot contention.
Let's leave it where it was.
Yeah, where
If where it was is fine. You can deal with that later.
If you talk, better than Cars, worse than Cars, they're all good anyways. Onward, literally. I'm taking notes instead of transition.
Yeah,
I'm ridiculous.
Oh, for Onward, my guy.
All right, so where's our Onward starting?
I like Onward. I if you ask me, it's not an A, but it's
fun.
It's a fun film. It might be lower. Is it lower than Toy Story 2?
I think it might be
lower than Bugs.
About the same, maybe as Toy Story 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a beautiful film. I actually do like it. That's another. Well, actually, not really. I was gonna say life is the journey. No, it's more like That's
It's more of like appreciating, what you have.
Yeah,
because he overlooks his brother throughout his whole life, and then realizes, wow, he's basically my dad, the dad I never had.
Basically, I'm not gonna lie. Him not being able to talk to his dad was so tragic. That sucks.
That was sad.
That was sad, man. I was in the theater like, how they do him like this?
You made it to the theater to watch this?
Oh yeah, I made it to the theater to watch this.
It's like the only movie that you could watch in theaters last year.
Oh yeah, I watched it alone. I was watching it.
Oh man, I wanted to get there, but I never got around to it.
Yeah, so that's a fun film.
And then quarantine hit, and just had to watch it on Disney Plus.
And now you have Soul. But fun fact for future reference, came out on streaming services, not in theaters because of COVID.
I honestly have no idea where to put this movie.
This is a tough one too.
If you put, if you ask me, right? So it
doesn't belong in B tier. Is my thought.
It doesn't. It's an A tier film. This is at least an A tier film. I personally have it at S, but if we put it in A, that's perfectly fine with me. This is an A tier. This is an A tier film. It has to be.
It's so new that I don't know. Like all of the movies in S tier are holding up. Like no question about it. These will be good 10 years from now. I don't know about Soul.
So one of the problems I have with Soul is the ending is kind of just like open-ended.
Yeah. Sequel time.
I don't think it's sequel worthy. I don't think it sets up for a sequel or anything, but it just feels so open-ended. Like there's no conclusion to it.
Does it leave much to be desired, or?
Yeah, like it just like I like a little bit of closure in the movie. That would have been nice.
But the issue with that is, and I totally respect that too. That's completely fine. It's more than appropriate to want a conclusion because you kind of like, this guy, is he gonna do this? Does he want?
I feel like it makes sense for the movie, but it's still like I wouldn't mind having a little bit of like, what's he do next?
Yeah, it's extremely deliberate. One of the scenes that are memorable to me is when he's eating like a really good pie. And he's like sad, right? Because he's alone. And then you see that scene again when he's reflecting on his life and he's smiling and he, like that moment to him. Because he
was personal.
Yeah, that's him. That's just plain old living, like he said, right? And then it just, in that moment, it became more important to him. It became more of a momentous occasion because he just felt genuine joy that food was just good, and we often take those kind of things for granted, and I think that's why it's appropriate the movie ends that way, because knowing what he knows now, everything he does, regardless if he pursues teaching or if he pursues his music career, that he's just going to be content or at least more appreciative, but that's just me though. But if you want like if you want closure or a genuine conclusion, that's perfectly fine. Like I totally get that too. Pixar definitely knew what they were doing. They're just like, hey, let's just not give these guys an ending.
It definitely fits with the movie well though. So so for me, it doesn't bother me. really, it's just.
I'm trying to hold in my laughter. Gosh. That's pretty funny.
Oh, man.
there.
I like that. That's
But
This is where it belongs. The S- tier.
S-
I
Soul.
think that's
soul.
fine. Oh my gosh! But like one of the parts in the end where he's like, where Jerry's like, is it Jerry or Terry?
Terry. Terry was the antagonist.
Okay, so Jerry
Was the everybody likes Jerry.
They were like, "Oh, you humans and your purpose." It's like, damn.
What do you know, Pixar? What are you
Pixar,
trying to tell
relax,
us?
bro. Don't stop, dude.
Like, yo, calm down.
Hey, relax, man. Dude, it's a little too personal.
Oh, dude, and the barbershop scene was freaking great.
It's because everybody's haircut was so fresh. Everybody had the freshest taper and or fade. Like the people are so well done. Yeah, the barbershop scene was sick.
It was done so well. It's like, especially for a freaking Disney movie, to actually have like
a real barbershop,
like black culture in the movie. Like, oh man. So like that's another part, for me, being black. It's like, oh man, this movie was really good. Like that.
They got it right.
It added like another level of like me liking the movie. And it's in New York. I don't know. I really did like the movie.
Did I see Tim's? Now I'm thinking about if I saw the Tim's.
Pixar with the accuracy.
Yeah, I forgot it was in New York. I didn't see the Tim's.
There might have been. I wouldn't be surprised.
There had to have been. There's no way.
I probably missed it. No.
It might have been the Jamie Foxx character that isn't the main character.
Yeah.
Yo, the dude at the shop. Yo, that guy got bodied. Sad. He was negative Nancy, was he not?
Yeah. He needed to check his inside outs, man.
Anyway, if it's not S tier,
I think it's fine where it is.
Yeah, that's fine where it is.
Yeah, so we need to rename all these tiers. S tier can stay S tier. It's just the Toy Story tier. We could even put a T tier above it. Just call that one Toy Story.
Toy Story.
A tier, a lot better than Brave. Which is good. I feel bad for Brave.
Again, it's not bad. It's still the film is cool. It's just all those films are just better than it. That's it. Could have been better than it.
And then Cars 2.
Still don't believe Cars 2 is worse than Brave, but I like where it's placed.
It's funny because
wait. Can we put Cars 2 in its own tier, but above those two? There you go.
Okay, that's pretty funny. It looks good to me. Cars 2. Hey man, I feel like the majority of people, I don't know, something echo chamber maybe, but I feel like the majority of people seem to have they share the same sentiment, about Cars 2. I do. They're just like, what the heck is this?
It's definitely a weird movie that doesn't really fit into the Cars series. Like, it just seems like it's there.
But Michael Caine is in it.
I think it's worse than Brave.
Man, honestly, dude, if Cars 2 was just the same exact plot, only everyone had Scottish accents, it might be in B tier. Better than Brave tier.
A lot. 2 words? I always get that mixed up.
It's 2 words.
Huh. All right. I like this tier list. I think
me too.
Everything,
I'm not
nothing's
mad
bad.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
either.
none of the movies are terrible.
Yeah.
Like, none of these are like, you shouldn't watch these movies.
Yeah, nobody listened to this podcast like, man, I'm never watching Cars 2. I'm never watching Brave.
Hey, you skip Brave. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
I liked Brave, but it wasn't as memorable as the rest. Like, it doesn't stack up. It was like
based
Mom
off
said.
the curve.
Yeah. It's Freaky Friday.
Based off the curve, like where these movies are, it's pretty spot on. I think
Her mom is really a bear. What's that? It could have been anything else.
I don't know. The one thing
the
I didn't like
just so random.
Yeah.
It's so like, why is it always a curse? They all just turn to bears. Are all the bears in the world cursed humans?
Yeah, exactly. Like the big mean bear. Who was he?
The first bear. That was the king. No, the prince from like the original 4 kingdoms that they were talking about.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's like everybody just turns into bears. Okay. What kind of weird curse?
That's what it's like in Scotland.
Anyone has any gripes with the tier list? Just the options select, right? If it's good, then awesome. If it's bad,
does S feel overcrowded to you guys?
What's up?
So does S feel too crowded?
No, that's all I was about to say. Like option select time, right? So if the someone's like, "Yo, I love your tier list," we're like, "Hey, thanks, man. We worked pretty hard. You know, you heard us discussing on the podcast." But if it's bad, you just say this: "It's not ordered." It's not ordered. Right, and everything in S tier is S tier. Everything in what I mean is not in any specific order.
You guys are telling me I could put Bugs Life on the top of the Better Than Brave tier. It's not ordered, right? It's not ordered.
Hey, I like Bugs Life. All right, you know what? This is a collective tier list. I actually do like Bugs Life. That's a fun film.
I liked it too. I just didn't like some of the supporting cast, like the butterfly wings at the end. That just made me mad. I was frustrated. I was like, why are you doing this?
I like the stick. The stick was funny.
It was cool. Yeah.
I really do like the pill bugs. The pill bugs are so funny to me. Just the banter. I don't even know what the heck they're saying, but every time they were on screen, I just can't help but laugh.
They were really funny.
Yeah.
The horn beetle was kind of whack.
Yeah, he was kind of whack too.
Wait, which one? Who?
Like, the giant horn beetle, the coward one.
Oh, he was. Yeah, that's a beta. Hey, what's wrong with that guy?
And then the mystical guy who had no real magic.
I kind of like him.
But that's a pretentious ass bug.
Praying mantis?
Pretentious, man.
And then the spider, and she was married to the
mantis
beetle,
was
right?
married to the moth.
Okay.
And then I don't think they were. I think he kind of just like took care of him because he was kind of slow.
Yeah. Oh, I thought they were married.
I think it was just like 10. Just the moth and the praying mantis.
You know what randomly got me in that film is the pill bugs is when someone's stem or something, the antenna gets ripped off, and they're like one of them's holding it, and they're just looking at the other one all mischievous, and then they just start talking hella fast. I don't know why that scene cracks me up every time.
Like that part too.
Oh man!
Like, oh, we didn't stop him, but I got his antenna.
That's so funny.
All right, I think we're a little pressed for time, but
we are
season finale. That's fine. Go over. Hopefully, the video comes out.
Should be fine.
You know what? I'm sure the audience will. You know, I'm sure they could live with the fact that we spent an entire podcast roasting Brave. So,
if not, the actual tier list will be posted on Twitter anyway, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
just
put spoilers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was fun. Pixar in a league of its own. None of these movies are bad. They could have been better than Brave.
That's it. That's it.
All you need to know.
Final thoughts, guys? Any one movie that stood out? Anything you want to say about anyone in particular?
All I gotta say is that whoever actually genuinely likes Brave is gonna have a huge issue with this tier. That's all I can say. Otherwise, I actually do like. I like where we ended up.
I think this is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a solid list.
I think my favorite.
I think somebody has some homework to do, but you know.
Oh yeah. As soon as you guys said homework, I was like, okay, I'm not doing
it. Every day after this tier list that you're not caught up, dude, you knock down a letter grade until you get to
No, we're just waiting for a dissertation at this point.
The break.
I did watch Cars 3. I'll give you guys.
We need the Cars 3 dissertation.
Nas did watch Cars 3. I'll give him that. Oh man.
Well, thanks for joining us. It was a great season. This was a great way to end the season. Be on the lookout for season 3. More things in store for you. We have more interviews. We have more, just more of the
everything.
Podcast. More of just hanging out, having a fun time. And with that, I think we can say goodbye to season 2. So this has been Whispering Tears, Mossta, and Westsidious, and we'll see you in a few.
Eventually.
New tradition. I got to redo the ending.
The blooper reel when?
Oh man, yeah. Well, we might release that. All right. So this has been Whispering Tears, Mossta, and Westsidious, and we'll see you guys next time.